I post the exam instruction. We don't talk about it yet. We will talk more about it on next week. Next week is optional, but if you read this, that's what you do. So there are two parts. Part 1, 30 questions, true or false. Okay. Minus 1 if you do it wrong. Part 2, multiple choice. Multiple choice doesn't have any penalty. I have 9 choices. Okay, so but it's like easy calculation problem. I did it myself. The whole exam take about 45 minutes. Okay.
So you do 35 minutes or
Took me 45 minutes to read everything. So you have 2.5 hours. It should be fine. The exam, many questions on the last 10 questions is the 90 point. Okay, last 10 questions is 90 point. It's a multiple choice, no penalty. It's like easy calculation. Easy calculate. It cannot be difficult because there's no partial credit. When you do, if the answer is A, your answer is B, you get nothing.
do you have like trick questions in there?
There's no trick. There's no trick. It doesn't have any trick.
So if you make the easy mistake, is the answer for the easy mistake?
It's 0. It's an easy mistake. The question is, for example, if you calculate molecular weight, average molecular weight by use mass percentage instead of volume percentage, you will have answer for that. You choose that, you get 0. Okay. So if there is an average like molecular weight calculation, use what? Volume percentage. For example, this is a exam 1, right, that you had already.
So you're telling us to use volume percentage on files?
If it appears, okay. So just use X, okay, in this box. Don't put T, F, O, plus sign, something else. Don't do something else. If you do something else, I just give you 0, okay? Read this instruction before the exam time. You need TTU driver license and you have 8 pages. Have you started to prepare it? Okay, try to do that. Reminder, okay, what do we have due this Thursday? Project, okay? This kind of project can be done in just 1 hour or 2 hours. Finish it, okay?
For you?
No, that's next week. We got a final design report due Friday, so let's push that to like.
I do care about your education, and I decide it is the best for everyone, including myself. Okay, so we don't move this deadline at all. Okay. Yes, sir.
Homework due on Thursday.
And we have homework due on Thursday. Homework is, did you take a look at it? It is a multiple choice and it's due completion. So if you don't have time to do that and you want to do this, at least read the solution. You print it out, you circle it, or cross it. It's a couple choices and that's it, right? You don't even need to do it, but please try to do it because it's needed for the final exam, okay? The solution will be uploaded the day after, okay? If you don't want to do it, do something. If you don't do it, okay, we consider it as missing. So in the homework, there is no penalty, so you have to select some choice. If you cannot say that, I don't know, I cannot do it, so I don't select anything. If you don't select anything, it's considered as not complete. So choose something, select something, all right? Very easy, right? Any question on that? Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5 questions and ABC, you just write, okay, A, B, C. Too easy, but really, it is important, okay? All right, we will cover more about the exam and review the exam on the optional class day next Tuesday. On that day, I need at least 1 person to come, okay? Otherwise, the class will be canceled, okay? But if 1 person comes, I will record it and upload it. You don't need to come, but you are welcome if you want to. Last time we talked about multiphase flow, and there are many things about multiphase flow that people need to know to be able to do the full calculation. It is quite a lot, okay? So what I want you to know is hold up calculation, no slip calculation. Okay, the concept of VSL, VSD, how to read the graphs, superficial velocity. Of course, match the flow pattern to the name. This, you should be able to do it. So, for example, this one and that one, they are not the same. Okay, you got that right? Did you start the video already? Oh. Okay, we talk about superficial velocity. We talk about no slip, liquid hold up, and actual hold up. Actual hold up, the symbol is capital H. No slip hold up, the symbol is lambda. They are not the same unless actual velocity is the same. Okay, so this means in stratified flow, gas phase typically move faster. Okay, for downward flow, liquid phase can move faster. For horizontal flow, generally gas phase move faster than liquid phase. So no slip liquid hold up and actual liquid hold up, lambda and h, they are not the same. Right? This case, this bubble flow, the actual velocity of liquid phase and gas phase are exactly the same. So lambda and h, they are the same. Okay? Lambda is a good approximation in most cases, and it is a perfect approximation for this bubble flow. Okay? Alright? We talk about oil water flow pattern and slip. Okay, which case that lambda less than h, which case that h is less than lambda, you should know this, okay? This, you should know this. We kind of skip this category A, B, C for the empirical correlation, okay? Basically, this is the history of multiphase flow calculation development. When people have multiphase flow, the first assumption that they did is, okay, it's well mixed, no slip. Then they found that, oh, it's over-predict, under-predict is not correct. Then they try to consider slip, okay, the difference between actual gas velocity and liquid velocity. But they still find that, oh, it's not correct. It's still not correct, so they try to, okay, now we have to incorporate flow pattern, okay, to make it correct. Even though they put the flow pattern in, they consider the slip, but it's still not that good. For example, it cannot do extrapolation. Empirical model has a problem that if the model is validated against a certain data set, it is valid for that data set. And extrapolation is a little bit like questionable. Okay. For mechanistic model, extrapolation is also unreliable, not that reliable, but it's still better than do the extrapolation for empirical. What I'm saying is, okay, if we have a test for 6-inch pipe, 3-inch pipe, okay, and we want to extrapolate that result to 24 inches ID, okay, so in this case, mechanistic model is more reliable. It's still not that correct, but it's still more reliable, okay? Extrapolation, always a risk. When we try to predict something that we did not validate the model against, is most likely not going to be correct, okay? But mechanistic model have a better chance to do the extrapolation. And the researcher do, we talk about what to do in oil, water case. 55%, many people miss. Arif not here. Oluwasai Bolokan, not here. Benjamin Bell, okay, is there any conference going on? Richard Del Principe, Richard.
That's a golf tournament.
Golf tournament, okay, they like playing golf. Grant Goodman, Alex Jessic, okay, Brandon Sprang, So cool. Okay, they like playing golf. That's good. Just do the report. Okay, this one is for oil water. We talk about how to calculate this case. So when we have emulsion flow, okay, when we have emulsion flow, this means there's no slip. Okay, and we get the emulsion property by using this equation. We discussed about that last time already. Okay, and we discussed about this equation. Just to repeat it again, so that friction factor is fanning, right? Not Moody. Okay, be careful with that when you use the chart in the exam. So minus dPdZ. So this means when we go up, we have pressure loss. Okay, so we lose the head on top of it. Or when we go down, we gain pressure. Okay, if it is well mixed. If it's fully mixed, like emulsion flow, we can assume a pseudo single phase flow. So that's a basic approximation. And we skip category A, category B, category C, and in the conclusion, this model, which is a mechanistic model, performs best compared to Beck-and-Brill, Manji-Brill, Dackler, Eden. It performs best. Okay. What do we get from this table? That paper have a mechanistic model, it best perform. However, who have access to that software? Are you going to code all that? Okay. If you don't, maybe use Beck-and-Brill. Okay. A lot more sharp, but it can be used too. Okay, to double check. But if you want more accurate, use mechanistic model. Okay, mechanistic model is good for steady state prediction. Okay, it is not good for transient. Transient means start up, shut down, close the valve, open the valve, or anything that has a change in time. Okay, mechanistic model gives the steady state. What happens if we wait long enough? What happens to that pipe section? Okay, we will go back and talk about that a little bit later. So this Charvet model can predict the flow pattern and predict the pressure drop for the steady state flow very good compared to other model. Okay, and we also have the comprehensive well bore model predict flow pattern and pressure drop in the well bore case and deviated well very good, like upward flow and slightly deviated well very good. Okay, this is a detail. What is the assumption in the model? We push that into the graduate course when we course list this class. Okay. Take home message for you. Number one, mechanistic model best perform when we compare to empirical model. Okay. Mechanistic model is for steady state flow. We have mechanistic model for horizontal flow and vertical flow. That's it. Okay. And mechanistic model use combined momentum equation. Okay, it from the first principle. That is why it has a better chance to extrapolate its prediction. Let's take a look on the physics of phenomena. Okay, this is a flow pattern map between superficial velocity of gas, superficial velocity of liquid for 1 inch pipe and 2 inch pipe. Okay. In 1 inch and 2 inch, SS is stratified smooth, I is intermittent. This dot open symbol is elongated bubble flow, fill symbol that is slug flow. Okay. dB is dispersed bubble, A is annular flow, SW is stratified wavy. So when I look at it, small pipe and large pipe, they are roughly the same. Okay. This is perfect horizontal. Increase the angle a little bit. So 0 means perfect horizontal. When we increase the angle, just 0.25. 0.25 degrees is not that much. Okay, just a little bit up. Okay. You can see, instead of stratified smooth, it changed to intermittent flow. Okay. Previously it's stratified smooth, and okay, over here it's stratified wavy. It's stay over there. Okay, but stratified smooth kind of shift. Okay. almost disappear, okay? So this tells me that flow pattern is very sensitive to the angle, okay? A little bit increase in the angle can change the flow distribution completely. And when we increase the angle a little bit more, okay, stratified wavy zone shrink, okay? 1 degree, 2 degree, 5 degree, 10 degree, 15 degree, 20 degree, so it keeps shrinking, okay? And stratified smooth kind of disappear. So when we increase the angle from 0 to upward incline, intermittent flow zone become larger and stratified zone kind of shrinking. You get the idea, right? Okay. What about 30, 50? Okay, 30 and 50 we have large intermittent zone and we have mostly slack flow and a little bit for elongated bubble flow. 70 degree. Okay, between 50 and 70. You see something new? B, capital B. Capital B, what is that capital B? Corner. Mr. John Corner. What is that capital B, sir? Capital B is bubble flow. Very good. Okay, that is bubble flow. That is capital B. So this is 2-inch pipe and that is 1-inch pipe. Why do we have different flow pattern here? It's not the same. You see, for the same VSL, VST, smaller pipe doesn't have bubble flow. Is that, what is that? Why is that? So what happened is, intermittent flow has a bullet-shaped bubble, okay? When the pipe is small, that bullet-shaped bubble kind of moves slow, okay? When bullet-shaped bubble moves slow, it blocks the pipe, and we have just bullet-shaped bubble. But for this case, when the pipe is big, we have a large pipe. When we try to form a bullet-shaped bubble, that bubble moves quick, so it leaves. And we left behind just bubble flow, small bubble moving up. Okay, so that is just a simple explanation about it. We don't go into detail, but what I want you to know is this flow pattern can change abruptly from one pipe diameter to another pipe diameter. This means upscaling of the prediction can be very tricky. Okay. I do the experiment in 1-inch pipe. I want to extrapolate my result to 2-inch pipe. Okay, maybe it's not correct because something new can just happen. You see that? So this flow phenomena is very dependent on the scale. Upscaling is difficult. Okay, it's difficult. Something you can pop up. Right, this is 80 degree, 85 degree, 90 degree. So large pipe we have bubble flow and small pipe we have just intermittent flow. Question for me? No question for me, okay? So if I have gas, in situ gas volumetric flow rate, liquid flow rate, okay, can you calculate VSL and VSG? Yes? Daniel, what is the formula to calculate VSG? Yeah, you. What's the formula for calculate VSG? Back in the slide. Will you be able to do the final exam? Final exam is just okay. You have this chart, you read it, and you tell me what kind of flow pattern. I give you the flow rate. You type ABC. So Q over A, so that is in situ flow rate, right? Convert everything in cubic meter because this is meter per second and that is area square, meter square, right? So Q over A, if this is in situ gas flow rate defined at that temperature and pressure, so divided by cross-section area, I have superficial velocity of gas at that point. I can calculate superficial velocity of liquid at that point. And then I can tell the flow pattern. This is the same as in the homework, right? To practice. Okay, 0 degree, we do downward flow. You see something? Stratified wavy. climb on top of stratified smooth region, okay, when I decrease the angle more, stratified smooth is gone, and I have just stratified wavy, so this is minus 5. So this means an intermittent flow region is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. So this means it is likely when we decrease the angle, the flow pattern will change from intermittent flow to stratified flow, right? So it is very sensitive to angle. The dominant flow pattern, the largest area in this flow pattern map right now is stratified wavy. I keep decreasing the angle, okay? Intermittent flow kind of change, we still have this bubble flow, okay? At minus 50, something happened for the large pipe. Another flow area kind of stay on top of stratified wavy, okay? Minus 70, minus 80, okay, another flow area climbing over there. What is going on here? Minus 90 degrees. I don't have stratified wavy anymore. This is going down, right? You have seen that before. Some people call falling film. Okay, we don't call it stratified wavy because it distributes around the pipe. Okay, this is falling film. So we have liquid film around the pipe. So there's a change on the stratified wavy. So stratified wavy kind of dominate for the case of minus 1 to minus 10. But when we go to minus 90, another flow of falling film like happen. Okay, so. And we still have some intermittent flow. We don't see stratified wavy flow yet. This flow pattern is dependent upon the condition at the inlet. If I have liquid inlet at the middle, okay, so I can have liquid in the middle, okay. If I introduce liquid like that, I can have liquid in the middle, or it's not quite annular, but this case, liquid spread around the pipe. Okay, so this flow pattern is dependent upon how we introduce the what is the inlet condition. So if we have Y connection on the top, so liquid come this way, gas come from the top, it will arrange it naturally to have film around the pipe. But if I have liquid, like pouring some liquid in the middle, so we can have liquid in the middle, okay? All right, sometimes people do like, so this is gas, liquid. Sometimes we have the case of oil, water. So some people try to trick by do this. Just fill it with water and flow oil in the middle, have oil going in the middle, so this becomes co-annular flow. Oil phase stay in the middle and water surround it. They try to do this to reduce the friction, okay? This is research and development. That is oil water. So in this case, this annular flow is gas liquid, okay? All right, flow pattern. Flow pattern is dependent on, yes?
Could you go back to slide 50? Could you go to slide 50?
50?
Yeah.
This one,
Yes.
0 degree, yes.
For the intermittent section, what's the difference between the solid circles and the...
This is slug flow. This is elongated bubble flow. Okay, open symbol on the white one is elongated bubble flow. The black one is slug flow. Okay, elongated bubble flow doesn't have bubble in the middle. So this is elongated bubble flow. Slug flow has gas phase trapped inside the slug bodies, have a mixing motion. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, could you put a key on there for what each symbol means? Because none of the slides have that.
It's not on the slide.
Correct.
So most of the time,
What?
this is stratified very smooth. This is stratified very annular flow. The only thing that is not on slide is, so this is this bubble. The only thing that is not on the slide, and I tell you, is that symbol, just that. Black is slug, white is elongated bubble flow. This symbol is elongated bubble flow. Just write it down, just remember it, okay? Every slide, the circle open symbol, that is elongated bubble flow. I'll try to put it on a slide next year, okay? Alright, flow pattern that we generate. What do we get? We have this flow pattern. Typically what they do is, when you buy a book, okay, there's a book called Mechanistic Modeling or Multiphase Flow. When you buy a book, there's a exe file and Excel file. Click a button, you get this chart. Okay, that easy. Don't have to do any calculation. Okay, there's a software to do that. What we need to know is this kind of chart is not universal. Like when we say 0 degree. So this is only for the case of air and water. If I use air and water but not at standard temperature and pressure, I use air and water at higher pressure, 100 psi or 1000 psi. The flow pattern won't be like that. It will be something else, okay? Because the fluid property change. If I change liquid phase viscosity, okay, I don't get this flow pattern. If I change the diameter, I don't get this. So this kind of flow pattern is specific to fluid property and pipe geometry, okay? Fluid property and pipe geometry is very important. So how can this calculation taken into account of pressure and temperature? Where is the temperature and pressure input for this? Anyone want to tell me? Or you want me to call the name? Arif is not here. Lanley. Indro. Okay. Indro is here. So where is the temperature and pressure in this chart? How can this calculation taken into account of that temperature and pressure?
I thought we should Q over A, right? Because it's at that condition.
Where is it? Where is the temperature? Where is the pressure? Okay, if I change pressure, I change temperature, will this chart change or it doesn't change? It will change. I just said that, yes. How can this prediction taken into account of that change? Through what? There are two parts. Pipe geometry or fluid property? Fluid property. So when we increase the temperature, change the pressure, density and viscosity change, interfacial tension change, so that causes the prediction to change, okay? So this calculation already taken into account of pressure and temperature through the fluid property of viscosity, temperature, and density, okay? So if we want to be valid for the field case, inside the well, we use the fluid property or viscosity and density of gas and liquid inside the well. If we want to do the flow pattern prediction inside the well. If we have horizontal well, we put the angle at that point to do the calculation, okay? Alright, this kind of calculation is for the case of steady state and kind of fully developed. Long pipe, long enough pipe. It doesn't take into account of backward communication. Backward communication, what I mean is when we have vertical section connect to horizontal section. So it assumes that what happened on the upstream, okay, impact what happened on the downstream. But what happened on the downstream doesn't impact on the upstream. In the reality, it may not be true. Because when we have liquid loading, whatever trying to flow up and as it go up, fall down, right? So what happened on the upstream could impact what happened on the downstream could impact the upstream, okay? But this calculation doesn't take into account that. Alright, the calculation part. I already explained that, okay, flow pattern depends on location in the pipe or pipe length from the inlet, angle, viscosity, density, interfacial tension. Okay, this is taken into account the program. Next, let's take a look on how the program works. Okay. The way that it works is based on, do the calculation based on combined momentum equation. Okay. This equation, if it is in the, you don't write that in the information sheet. Okay. If you need it, I will provide it. I think it's too much. Okay. It's a lot. It's really a lot. Typically, I want you to write many things, but this time it's kind of a lot. Okay. So if I provide it, I will tell you exactly which unit is, which parameter has what unit. Okay. Everything in this slide is SI. Okay. Everything on this slide is SI. If it is needed during the exam, it will be provided. If it is not provided, don't try to find it because it's not used. Okay, we don't need it. There are many more things. This slide, you don't need to write it down. Okay. The bottom part, you need to know it. Okay. You need to know it. The bottom part. Maybe not this one, but this thing also on different slide. Like 16 over Reynolds number. That is friction factor for laminar flow case, right? You need to know that. That you need to write it. I don't tell you that. I may tell you this. But 16 over Reynolds number, this, you write that. Okay. This two equation is about dimensionless parameter that governing the flow for two-phase case. Okay. There are two dimensionless groups that governing the phenomena. Okay. Number one is x, number two is y. So this equation is for x squared. The physical meaning of it is this. X, they call Lockhart-Martinelli parameter. The spelling is given later. It is a ratio between frictional pressure loss based on superficial liquid velocity and based on superficial gas velocity. So it's a ratio of frictional pressure loss. Okay, that's the physical meaning of it. So if X is a lot, this means we have a lot of friction on the liquid phase velocity is very high. Okay. If X is low, very low, this means we could have very high flow rate of gas or not much flow rate of liquid. Capital Y is about inclination angle. Inclination angle for 0 degree, capital Y is 0. Okay? And it's scaled by the superficial frictional pressure loss of gas phase. Okay? Okay. What you will do for the final exam is this. This kind of calculation, you actually don't do it. Okay? When you do it, okay, there's something that you will do, but when you do it, the formula will be given, or even better, the number will be given, and then you use that number. I try to test if you can read the chart or not. So you don't actually substitute the number to do any of this. It's kind of too much, okay? But what I want you to understand is the physical meaning of it, okay? When we have capital X, capital Y, that capital X, capital Y is derived based on the combined momentum equation. So the mechanistic model works by, number one, calculate capital X, number two, calculate capital Y. Use this kind of chart to estimate the liquid height. H tilde is the dimensionless liquid height, okay, based on X. So
on the x-axis on this, that's x, not x squared, right?
not X squared, that is not X squared. That, but previous slide is X squared, okay. So what happened is when we know Y, let's say 0 degree, capital Y is like this. So we know that X is about 1, okay. X is about 1. We can read height over diameter, okay. Height over diameter. So this is equilibrium, we call equilibrium stratified model. Number one, to find the flow pattern of horizontal flow, we assume that the flow is stratified flow. And then we check if it is really stratified flow or not. So to find out if it is stratified flow, this is going to be the height. Okay, that is an assumption. So the way that it works is, number one is calculate X, number two is calculate Y. Use this chart, get H tilde. Okay, this chart will get H tilde. So that is, if we have stratified flow, that will be the height over the diameter. Okay, got it? So you pass step one. So this depends on turbulent, if liquid phase is turbulent flow or liquid phase or gas phase is turbulent flow or laminar flow. So the flow regime, whether it's turbulent or laminar, is important too. Okay, if it's this case, use the dashed line, for example. I try to generate other line like laminar liquid, laminar gas, laminar liquid, turbulent gas. The line is similar to this, not that much different. Okay. Then we have another chart. Okay. This chart can tell the flow pattern. Okay. So the way it works is in this slide. So when we calculate x and y, for example, I give you the value of x and y, you read the H tilde from the chart, or maybe I read it for you already. Okay, to find the flow pattern for mechanistic model, there are a lot of explanation, but we skip that. So this is just how it works. So number one, they check if the stratified flow is going to be stable or not stable. Okay, that is transition A. To check transition A, we use capital F versus H tilde. Okay, we use capital F versus H tilde. Okay, or capital F versus X, if it is perfect horizontal case. That capital F, you see that capital F, there's an expression for it. So this capital F is, this is the expression. We have VSG, rho G, all this. If you need to use it, it will be provided. Okay. Most of the time I just tell you, capital F equal to 1 or something like that. Capital K equal to 2, capital T equal to something, something, something. So I pre-calculate everything and you decide what is the flow pattern. Okay, that easy. So you don't need to do anything. I want to check if you know how to use it or not. So this slide, this definition, that definition, that, even that, or any of this, you don't need to write it. The page that you need is this one. Okay, this one. So look at capital F. The value of VSG, we know it up front. Rho, the property, we know it up front. That rho, that D, that G, we know G is 9.8066 something. So this is, we know it up front. We can calculate capital F up front with the provided information. Okay. What about capital K? Capital K is capital F squared multiplied by superficial Reynolds number. Reynolds number based on superficial liquid velocity. That is VSL, rho L, D, mu. Why do they try to use VSL, not VL? Because VSL, we know it up front. When the information is given, we can use flow rate divided by cross-section area to get VSL right away. But we don't know actual VL because we don't know the hole up yet. Okay. VL requires information of hole up, right? But VSL doesn't require information of hole up. So this parameter can actually be calculated even before reading this chart. Even before reading this chart, that capital F, capital K, all those things can be calculated before. Okay. The researcher come up with transition A based on the actual physical mechanism. For example, if wave is too much, there is a suction to make it touch the top of the wall or something. That explanation we skip. Okay, that explained in graduate level 5319. If you want to stay here. So step 1, check the transition A. Transition A is check whether it's stratified or not stratified. It doesn't tell whether it's stratified wavy or not stratified wavy. It doesn't tell if it's intermittent flow, disturbable flow. No, it doesn't tell. It just tells if this is stratified or not. Okay. So when we use this chart, HL tilde comes from previous chart, right? From this chart, we get HL tilde. From HL tilde, let's say HL tilde is 0.5. Okay. Capital F is 1. Okay. Maybe a little bit lower than 1. Okay. When we have it over here, this means it is not stratified.